For my 10th episode, this is the 10th episode of Laugh With Me, I should do something big, and I should get a 10-year-old comedian.
Actually, I'm 11.
Oh, you're 11?
Yeah, I'm 11.
Oh. All right, well, for the 10th episode, we're going to have an 11-year-old. Obviously, I'm kidding. I know you're 11. You're my kid, right? So, but you're also, what do you mean? There's no question to this.
Question, do you know my age?
Oh, well, okay. Welcome back. It's a brand new episode of Laugh With Me. It is our 10th episode. This is a big one for us. We found somebody that you would not have expected to be on this show. It is a comedian. Oh no, she's a comedian. In fact, she performed her first show this past summer at an amphitheater here in Omaha in front of 250 people. That was her first show. Yeah, you're wondering, who is this person? Who could Jeremy have possibly gotten at such a big get for episode 10, doing comedy, first time ever, 250 people in the audience. Yeah, it was tough to get. She lives upstairs. It's my daughter. It's Haddie, 11 years old, and just as bubbly and as smart as can be. And she was excited when she got the call to be on the show, and she is here live in studio. It's the 10th episode of Laugh With Me, and here she is. Here is Haddie.
Thank you for that warm welcome.
Here's the thing that the audience is going to learn about you today.
What?
You are a stand-up comedian yourself.
I mean, I thought so.
But you are a stand-up comedian. You had your first show, and we're going to talk about that. But before we get there, you've always been funny. I mean, really from the time you were a baby, toddler, could learn how to talk, you've always been funny with family for sure. I know you've told me friends think you're funny as well. Like, what do they say?
They say, like, I need to think of an example. So, like, let's say in class, and like this one time in 4th grade, we were going through vocab, and one of the words was invisible. And so then she skipped it. It was obviously an accident, my teacher. And so I'm like, Mrs. Teacher, and I was like, you're treating invisible like it's invisible. And I was literally just stating a fact, and everyone was like, oh my gosh, that's like, it makes just so much sense with like the word and then like how she was treating it.
And you found the humor in that. Yeah, that's awesome. It's situations like that. It's your timing, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you've had a gift for timing and moments that has put you in a position to want to like try to do comedy of some sort. And and I know I've been right by with you, side by side, watching some of these things. But like, what are some of your influences? Like, if somebody who hadn't heard your act, what are some of the things that make you laugh and that you find funny?
Some of the things that make me laugh are the position chip guy. So one day when Dad came home from working, we were going to a store. Yep. And I'm like, oh my gosh, look at that chips to play. And then he was like, yeah, the chip guy did. I'm like, the chip guy? That's a position?
Yeah.
And I'm like, how have I not known about this?
It blew your mind that it was someone's job to handle chips.
It really did.
Yeah, well, there's a whole big world out there. You would be surprised what people... I mean, I handle the eggs.
You're that guy.
That's what I do now, yeah. What are some some TV shows or some movies that are funny that you've gravitated to? I know one in particular, you were singing a song last night when we were in the car that comes from a TV show. What are some shows that maybe have molded your sense of humor a little bit?
Definitely The Office. It's just like, they don't have the best, like, jokes ever to just, like, say a joke and be like, oh my gosh, that's so funny. But, like, it helped with my timing. It was just, like, they had the perfect moments, the perfect amount of silence. And obviously it was planned, but, like, the way that it was planned, it was awesome.
Yep. And I found that so incredible that you were just watching a couple of episodes of The Office. Yeah, I mean, you've seen like the whole series, but you were watching a couple episodes of The Office and you weren't just laughing at the jokes or the uncomfortable moments, because that's what the show's, that's the humor, right?
Yeah.
But you were reading how it was funny, why it was funny, and I thought that was incredible. I mean, that's for a 10-year-old. You're 11. That was a joke.
When I was 10.
When you were 10, that was a big read for watching The Office, and kudos to you for that. But I know that's definitely been something that has been an influence on you, right? Watching The Office, Michael Scott. Ryan Didn't Start the Fire. That was the song you were singing.
Yes, I love that part. It's my favorite part. Like, the whole series is my favorite episode. Ryan started the fire. Especially since a band that I really like, and all of us do, Fall Out Boy,
Yep.
they, like, made a cover of Didn't Start the Fire. And so anytime I just hear those words in a sentence, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's that episode. I immediately think back to that.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's an iconic moment.
Mm-hmm.
So when you had the idea of, okay, I'm going to do a variety show and I'm going to try stand-up comedy, and it's got to be original, right? You're not a hack. Like, you're not gonna take somebody else's bit, but you had to write 4 original minutes. For the people listening who have never been on stage for even 10 seconds to say something, 4 minutes is hard, isn't it?
My initial thought was like, oh, 4 minutes, I can do 4 minutes. But then as the time go on, when we were practicing, writing it, doing everything, I'm like, so much goes into these 4 minutes that 4 minutes could make or break the entire performance. Mm-hmm. Like, I could accidentally, I don't know, mess up on one of the lines, but that doesn't necessarily make it unfunny. It just makes it a mess up. Like, during one of the parts, I, like, paused. Like, I had no idea what it was. But I'd rather do that than say something weird or uncomfortable or make that whole bit, like, section, just, like, a bad part of the section. I'd rather make that one section something where I just need to think about than actually mess up on the whole thing.
Yep, because then you'll lose the punchline if you're messing up on a line along the way.
So I just had to remember it. We did so much practicing, which, thanks to you, obviously.
Well, you did the work, and at the variety show, you did 4 minutes. You wrote 4 original minutes, and you practiced and practiced and practiced. The show was called
Just Haddie.
Just Haddie, because it was just you on stage, right? And it was awesome. You did a great job. 250 people. I don't know. I've never performed in front of that many people.
Obviously.
What do you mean, obviously?
Well,
now you're taking shots. You know what? I'm just kidding.
I didn't do anything.
For those of you, I mean, you can't see this, but she dropped back in defense mode and knew that. So Just Haddie, the variety show, you're backstage, you're nervous, right? I was back there with you, and I was making sure, you were good and just trying to hype you up. And then I had to go out and watch. I wanted to watch the performance. As you're walking on stage and you're looking out over the amphitheater, and it's an outdoor amphitheater, and it's 250 people, what'd that look like? What was going through your head?
It looked like the whole world was watching me, silently just being like, oh, what's this girl going to do? What's her act? Or like, oh, it must not be as good as everyone else's. That was the initial thought. But then once I actually finished, like, going through it and everything, I'm like, oh, wow. They laughed. They clapped. They did everything at, like, the right times. And even I saw my brother clapping, which is, like, a big thing.
Yeah, and I was sitting with him. He laughed. He laughed at the right moments. Even you had a couple punchlines in there about him.
Yeah.
And we're gonna play some of your show on the podcast. So just a heads up, that's gonna be on. Maybe we'll throw his joke in there for him. More from Haddie in just a few moments. We're gonna play a short clip from her set called Just Haddie that she performed this past summer. It was pretty good. Four solid minutes, good laughs. Sometimes the jokes write themselves, especially when you're the younger sibling to a 13-year-old brother. I wouldn't know what that's like. I was the older brother. I know for a fact that Kyle didn't have these same thoughts about me. There was a 4-year gap. They've got 2, so it was probably a little more dramatic for Kyle. There's just no way he thought that I smelled. There's just no way. Anyway, here's a clip from Haddie's show, Just Haddie.
I have been told that I have the messiest
prettiest room in my neighborhood. I have my own perfectionism standards, per se. So sorry, Dad, but my messy clothes on my messy floor are perfect for me. To be clear, that may sound like talking back, but I've been told that I'm a good person. And I've learned to pick and choose my own battles. For example, when my mom's telling my older brother that he needs to take a shower, I like to chime in with a yes, please.
Yeah, I mean, everything hit, right? You said you had that pause, about midway through the show where you wanted to really think about the line and just kind of make sure you got it right. I don't think that mattered. You did a good job. You did it the right way. But the thing that was important was, like what you said, what you wrote is what caused the actions from the audience. They laughed at the right moments. They clapped. It was awesome. You did great. But remember we were talking about before, it's like, even if they don't laugh, like, that's part of it too. Like, you're gonna have times. Yeah. You're gonna have times where they don't laugh. I've had many, many times where they don't laugh. That's okay. That's what you learn. You learn from it. And you're like, okay, that one didn't hit. But maybe next time, right?
Uh-huh. And the thing is, it wasn't like my second or third show that it didn't just go right. It was my first show, and that went incredible for me.
Yep.
4 minutes for my first time. It's just like, that's an astounding number for what I did, especially for 250 people.
Yeah.
And now I know that I can handle that for my first time, not even like when I'm more experienced. My first time went awesome. I just got to think of that.
Yep, you crushed it, and like you just said, for the next time. So let's talk about that. What's next? Like, what do you want to do, or what are you thinking about? Or, you're in 6th grade. You're busy with school, and we'll get into all the things you're busy with there. But what's next? What do you want to accomplish in this?
Now, I'm not saying that I want this to be like my full career like yours. You want this to be like your thing, since like you love doing that. That's what makes you happy. And this makes me incredibly happy, just like being so young. There's also not a lot of opportunities that I get for doing it, like talent shows. There's not like actual comedy acts that I like sign up for. It's mainly for like talent shows, which I'm fine with. That way I get to see incredible acts by so many different people my age, which like I'm enjoying doing things with kids.
Yep.
Like, I'd never want to go up against, like, I don't know, older teens or, like, young adults or just any kind of adult unless I'm working with them, like you. I'd love to do something like saying and making jokes with you, especially since I already made them with you, so saying them would be also great.
It'd be fun, yeah. Yeah, that would be great. We'd be a good team.
We would.
We wouldn't be able to do any office jokes. We'd have to write original jokes, but we could do it. I think we could do it. You're a good writer.
And we can make references, like...
Oh, yeah, we can do references for days. Yeah, it'd be a good time. Well, I think you got the right mindset. I mean, you enjoy doing it, and you'll do, you can do more if you want to. But yeah, why not like you said, you enjoy doing things with your peers, with people your age, and seeing their talents as well, and that's huge. So it makes it fun. We're talking about comedic timing and just kind of the gift of it. You've had it from a very young age. Tell us about trick-or-treating.
Okay. When I was told that this was when I was like, I don't know, 3 or 4 in my childhood, of course. And when we were trick-or-treating, they jokingly said, my parents, they said, say trick-or-treat, shop at Hy-Vee.
But context, why did we want them to shop at Hy-Vee? We lived in Creston, Iowa. And I ran the Hy-Vee store. Yeah. So we needed more customers. Yeah.
And so
we went door to door, baby. We went door to door.
And it was originally meant as like, oh, say trick or treat, shop at Hy-Vee. But then I'm like, okay, I'll do that. I will do that.
You did.
And then I did it to like more than half the houses I went to. And they're like, oh. Like, who's making her say this?
Well, it was great because we're at the end of the driveway or at the street, and you're going up to the doors, and we knew exactly when you said it because they would start laughing. It was odd, to say it trick-or-treating. And then they would generally look up to see it, and then they would see, me and your mom, and then they knew, like, okay, this all makes sense now.
I wasn't just being like, please shop at Hy-Vee, that's what I want.
Yeah. Oh, that was great. You were a very young performer. Or you were a gifted performer at a young age. I guess that's
or
the better
a mini
way to say it.
billboard, same thing.
Or a mini billboard, yeah. But you have a very busy schedule.
I really do.
We have, we just kind of briefly talked about how you're in 6th grade, but it's not just class. I mean, you don't just go class to class to class and then get picked up and go home. Like, let's talk about it. What are you involved in at school?
I've got a lot of clubs. Like, I'm doing so many, and I plan to do more because I love being involved, especially doing things that make me happy, and knowing that this is something that, like, I don't have to, like, sign up for or audition for. It's something that I know I can do, and I don't even have to go back. Like, it's not a commitment. It's just something fun, which is great for me since I have so many things, I can't go to everything every single time. And so I'm in, I think, like 5 or 6 clubs currently. Well, at least ones that I know I'm 100% going to do or I am doing. So I'm doing Kindness Club, Book Club, Sewing Club, Scrapbooking Club. Can't remember the others, but
Kindness Club?
Yeah, Kindness Club. I've got a lot of clubs going on for me. Then now I just recently signed up for student council and made it on, which that was like...
It's huge.
That's huge for me since it's not something that everyone got on. Like, there were like 15 people going for it in just my team in my grade. And only like 4 of us got on, which I'm so happy to be one of the lucky few to be able to get on. Especially since I was just doubting myself so much about that. But I'm not going to get it. There's so many other better people fit for it. And then I made it, so I'm one of those people that are fit for it.
Yeah.
And now we do so many different projects. Just coming up, we're doing the food drive, which is one of the biggest projects that we'll be doing, since this is such a big thing for our school, and we raise the most amount of food every year than any other district.
And it's helping the food pantry here locally?
Mm-hmm, it is. Awesome. And it hands out to the families here too. Everyone who needs the food and the help, they get it.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing, is you said you were doubting yourself, that you weren't good enough maybe to make student council because everybody else had their own accomplishments. Mm-hmm. But it's got to be fulfilling to know when you do make it, I am good enough. I can do this. Right?
Especially since I get to do it with so many of my friends. I get to do student council with one of my best friends. Mm-hmm. And then I also get to do clubs with any friend that I invite. And they are always down for any of them, since they love supporting the things that I do too, since they're great friends. And also, it's their interest too. We share interests.
Would you say that the majority of the kids in the clubs that you're in are in it because you're inviting them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh my gosh, look at this new club that I want to do. And they're like, oh, that does sound interesting. Why don't we go together? I'm like, oh, that sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's always good to have after-school activities, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you have your friends with you.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things about joining clubs and student council, and especially at this young age, is you're building a resume.
I am.
Right? And you're building a record that you are a responsible person and that you can follow direction and lead at the same time. One of the shows that you and I love is a show that requires a lot of resume building, leadership, drive, and putting yourself out there.
It does.
That's the Shark Tank.
That's the Shark Tank.
That's the Shark Tank.
Yeah.
I think a young leader like yourself, I bet a lot of those people that go on Shark Tank, they were in the position that you're in right now. But we love Shark Tank.
Yeah.
You're probably not, I know, actually, for a fact, you're not the demographic.
I'm definitely not, no.
For the people to watch Shark. They are not looking at trying to get 11-year-olds, right?
Yeah.
But what is it about Shark Tank that you love so much?
I love the business opportunity. I love seeing newfound entrepreneurs get to succeed at their job, especially since so many of them get an investment, that makes me happy for them, of course, since I'm a very empathetic person.
Yeah.
And then also just seeing the way they do it also builds my skills at business. It's helped teach me what are good deals, investments, or what I could get invested in or what I couldn't make. And, it also gives me so many different ideas for, what could happen in the future. I could come up with a product, and I could get on, and seeing all these things that, maybe worse or most likely better than something that I could make, I'm like, oh, that gives me a chance. And like this one time I was at my grandparents' house and that just happened to be on while we were eating. And a kid that was me, maybe even younger, actually came up with an idea. He made it. And then his family just helped out with the money and everything. And then they went on Shark Tank. I'm not sure if they got a deal, but they went on there. That's what's keeping me. That's what, like, it makes me think of. I'm like, they went on there. They got to go on there. Yep. That's really the thing that I think about.
And all of the businesses that get on Shark Tank, even if they walk away without a deal, it's the exposure, too, to an audience that didn't know anything about their product that now might check into their product. You know, how many times do we watch that show and they're pitching something and we're like, oh, this is fantastic. Somebody's got to get it.
It's happened.
How much are they going to get? And then they don't get a deal. They're selling to us, right? They're selling to us even if they didn't get the deal.
They're making us be like, oh, I want that product. Where's that business? Where can I find it? Since they also give so much information about their business. Like, yes, we have it in blank stores and like things like that. They're saying where to get it and like what their prices are, their demographic. They share like everything about their business, which is great for the viewers too, which is exactly what they think of when they're planning that out.
Yeah, that's incredible. There's not many kids your age watching Shark Tank thinking about opportunities.
They're probably like, oh, that's a cool product.
Yeah. But it's great. Mark Cuban, I'm sure, has taught you a lot already.
Yes.
Have you come up with an item? I mean, is there a business or an item or something that you've thought of and you're like, if I had a chance to go pitch that on Shark Tank?
Oh, definitely. I'm not saying they're good ideas, but they're an idea. This one thing, this would be a great seller, I'm thinking, and I'm like, who would buy this other than me, though? Because, like, I come up with products, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that'd be so useful. Oh, I love that. I'd buy, like, 700 of them. And then I'm like, that's what I'd think. Is that really...
That's a you thing,
Is there really any other person in the world who would want to have this?
Yep.
Like, I came up with this one thing in my head. I didn't write anything down. I didn't think about it, like, any else. I'm like, I was watching the show, and I actually watched it on my own sometimes, and I was just like, what if I came up with a product? What would I do? And I was thinking, what if I made, like, a website that you would buy for, like, I don't know, like, a program you would buy. And kind of like how you have your thing for recording podcasts.
Yeah.
You buy that, you pay for it, and you get to use it.
Yep.
I'm thinking of Corgi Talk.
Corgi Talk.
Corgi Talk.
So what is it? Like, is it a podcast? Like, what is Corgi Talk?
Corgi Talk is like, it's kind of like you get to post videos, clips, anything about corgis, it goes on there.
Okay. So it's a space for people like you who like corgi, love corgis.
Love corgis.
And want more of them. Okay.
It's like, because like you could go to any of your favorite like websites or things like that, like YouTube, for example. You could search up corgis. What's going to come up?
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's not always just going to be corgis.
It's other stuff.
Yeah. Anything. It could also be corgi products, which, like, of course I'm happy with. But, like, what if someone just wants the real deal corgi?
Yeah.
Where are they going to find it? Corgi Talk. That's where they're going to find it.
Because you'll search corgis and you'll get, like, a video of me stubbing my toe with a corgi in the background. And that's not what you're looking for.
It could, in the title, it could be, like, Corgi watches me stub toe. If it has corgi in the title, it's going to pop up. That doesn't mean it's going to be about corgis.
Right.
Which, in Corgi Talk, we would take things very seriously. We would go over, like, every post, everything, and we'd be like, is this really about corgis? And if it is, or it's just adorable with a corgi in it, then, of course, we're going to put it on there. So it runs through a bunch of people who are looking at, and they're like, is this corgi enough? And if it is enough, it's going on Corgi Talk.
Wow, so there's even guidelines to what corgi content can go on the Corgi Talk.
Yes.
This is big time.
Big time.
Yeah. I wonder what you could get from Mark Cuban for this.
Yeah, like, this is the big one. We need very big investment for this, of course.
This episode of Laugh With Me, a podcast with Jeremy Odom, is brought to you by Corgi Talk. It's the app that gives you all the fun you could ever have with a corgi. It's a specialty app that you download for only $4.99 from any app store available to you. Once you have the app and download it onto your phone, you're able to access hundreds of thousands of videos of corgis just having the times of their life. Also videos of corgis eating food, drinking water, sleeping, playing with a ball, occasionally a little bite, but nothing too wrong. The standards here at Corgi Talk are very stringent. You will not have anything that is over-the-top violent, sad, or just plain discriminatory. Corgi Talk. It's where you can watch any video you could possibly imagine if you're a fan of corgis. Also on Corgi Talk, we'll have special message boards where you can chat with other fans of corgis all day long. You can share photos with your fans and also find sounds of corgis that maybe you've never even heard of. Maybe you know somebody or don't know somebody, they have a corgi and their corgi makes these weird sounds. You know, they're just like not the same sound that your corgi makes, but it's a different corgi and they're making different sounds. You can record that sound, put it on Corgi Talk, so you as a fan of corgis can listen to said sound. Corgi Talk, available to you, $4.99. You can download the app anywhere you can get your apps. This is big. If you're a corgi fan, this is for you. A proud sponsor of Laugh With Me. Now back to the show.
Oh, yeah. Well, something to think about. And, you know, maybe someday you'll build your Corgi Talk, or somebody listening to the show will steal your idea. I don't know. One or the other. Who knows?
You know, I hope it's the first one, but, like, again, you never know.
But if the latter happens, you'll get to use Corgi Talk. And really, that's all that matters, right?
Yeah, because, like, what I'm thinking about, if I'm going to use it, I'm like, if someone does make it, I know I'm going to use it. Which is great, because, like, at least there's someone who will get this product. Yeah. Someone who will invest in this. I'd, of course, invest in Corgi Talk.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Love it. Well, you're a very creative young person. And you and your brother are a part of a 5-person, like, creative group. It's you and your cousins. And it's called the Toxic Kids.
It's just a band run by a bunch of gremlins.
A band run by a bunch of gremlins is a fantastic description of you 5. Tell me about the Toxic Kids. You said band, and I know there's music involved. Like, a few of you make music and make music videos, and it's all original stuff. It's not like you're doing covers. I mean, nobody's doing Crazy Train, but it's more than just that. Like, I know your Just Haddie show is on the Toxic Kids YouTube page, but tell me about the Toxic Kids, where it came from, and kind of where we're at right now.
So, it came from, honestly, a couple years ago, but we really only started doing things, like, last year. We came up with ideas, like, 3 years ago, honestly, and we were like, oh, we should start a band together, and, like, that'd be awesome and all. And so we did, and we're like, we're gonna need a name. We want to do with kids. That way they know that this isn't, like, a professional thing, and they're not expecting professional music from us. Just, like, something for fun that we're doing, like, run by kids, or gremlins, what you say. And, and so we're like, okay, we need a name. And then I'm not quite sure how the toxic part started. I think we started with, like, sour or something. And then we're like, Toxic Kids, that would work. So then we came up with our name. Like, a year later, we finally made our first song. It's called Beast Mode. And it really only has my cousins, Thad, Ozzy, and Marnie. They're the ones who, like, really did it. They did some of the music. They actually play instruments. Like, Thad, I don't know, drums, he does stuff like that. Yep. Marnie has a guitar. And Ozzy's just knowing how to play the trumpet now, but that obviously wasn't a thing then. And,
guitar, drums, and trumpet, baby. And then a whole bunch of screaming, I'm sure.
There was. We were just finding out, like, how to do things on computers and stuff like that. So it obviously wasn't our best song, but, like, it was our first one. That was really important, and we were really all proud of that, even if we didn't all work on it that much. And then we started doing other music and things like that. We got, my brother, he got, like, an app for, like, saying, like, more music stuff, and that way he could do it all from his phone instead of actually having to play an instrument, since we're not going to learn that overnight, but an app, we can learn that very easily. And so that's what we started doing, and then we started posting our music on a YouTube channel called Toxic Kids, of course. Yep. And it's just run by the 5 of us. That's gremlins.
Wow. The 5 gremlins. That's incredible. And you know, if anybody listening has a second to go on YouTube and check out the Toxic Kids, it's worth your time. There's a lot of fun music videos. The songs, they're deep. Like, I would listen to, your brother, he's got a few songs in there, and I'm listening to the lyrics, and I'm like, this poor guy. Like, he's going through it.
You think you can get away with this, but now
You think you can act like this, but no. I think you should go because
Yeah, we try to we don't want to just make like random words that just don't make sense, like hot dog water so awesome, chill, yeah. We actually wanna make it sense. You know, it may just be like silly or fun, but it has to make sense in the order. Like, it could be hilarious, like something about hot dog water, but it has to be about hot dogs.
Yeah.
It just can't, like, that can't just be one portion of the song. It has to all make sense into one song, which we really try to think about when we're making those.
Interesting. So when you're creating a song, how long does it take you guys?
Depends how focused we are on it, because sometimes we'll be like, oh yeah, let's make this. And we come up with the title. And then we work on from like the whole theme of it, and then maybe the title changes. But that way we have our theme put down on what we're going to start doing. And it changes, it turns into whatever it may like, but it starts off as like one thing. And then we bridge on from that like a tree. And then, so that's where it all starts. And so, depends, it could take about 4 days, could take a week, could take 2, could take even a month if we just like, we're like, oh yeah, let's make this. A couple days later, oh, we forgot to work on this. A couple days later, okay, let's work on this.
So the creative process is always ongoing.
Yeah.
Very fluid. We're going to play one of the songs from Toxic Kids here on the show, just so you know.
Yeah.
You good with that?
Mm-hmm.
this is not a drill. I'm so bad and it makes all day first thing in all time. This is not a drill. This is not a drill. This is not a drill. This is not a drill, yeah. Shut the door like the door. Turn the lights out. Shut the door like the door.
And it's Toxic Kids. You can find them on YouTube. They have a Discord if you wanted to get in the mix there, but the YouTube channel is where it's at. That's where you can find all the music videos and all the songs. But
and we
it's a
also
lot of
have
fun.
some things like my dad said. He mentioned that my comedy thing was on that. It is. We also, it's not like just music. It's really just surrounded by us. Most of it is music. Like, that's where it's at. But there's a couple just like sketches, just some fun things that we add to. There's not many of them, but they are there.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's good to keep the brain, always just going in all different directions. So kudos to you guys, the Toxic Kids. So this is the part of the show where I pitch a new joke idea. Mm-hmm. Okay? And you tell me if it's funny. I mean, if it is funny, you are free to laugh. If it's not funny, or maybe you have a suggestion, like maybe you have a better punchline, but this is just kind of some things I'm working on. I'm always working on new jokes, right?
You always are.
Always working. So here's one of the new ones that I'm working on, and I thought might be appropriate for this episode.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I just love how kids interpret different things, because you just never know what they catch or what they're hearing when you say it. Like the other day, my son loves a good cheeseburger, and we were out one night, and I pointed out, like, hey, that restaurant's named Cheeseburgers. And he said, oh, wow, Dad, that one business is called Midwest.
That is funny, especially since I was there.
You were there.
So I felt it, and
Yeah.
that was just that was an awesome moment.
Yep.
And maybe he was just calling it out.
It was just interesting that it's a very known thing that he loves cheeseburgers. It's his favorite meal, right? And there's a business called Cheeseburgers. Hey, Braden, look at that.
Yeah.
And he thought we were just calling out business names.
So he may have thought that because, like, I don't know, we live in the Midwest. It's just like, it's like, maybe he just thought it because, like, it wasn't just like a title like Dairy Queen. It's just like, it's the name of an actual thing or place.
Of a thing, yeah.
Like cheeseburgers. Just not quite the same effect.
No, it really didn't. How'd you get the hiccups? Was that joke so funny that it popped some hiccups?
Yes.
Oh, yes. That is a laugh with me first. We've got live hiccups on the show. Post me pitching the new joke ideas. This is a big, big deal. This is the 10th episode of Laugh With Me. and we had a former 10-year-old, now 11, and Haddie talking about her budding comedy career and just like how busy she is and everything she's involved with Toxic Kids and everything at school. But what else are you working on? Like, do you have some other projects that you've got coming up, or maybe some things that you want to work on, maybe when we get into like spring or summer?
I don't think I've got much planned. There's definitely things that I want to do, but not really anything that like I know I'm gonna do.
Okay. Well, sky's the limit. You're very talented, and your show, Just Haddie, definitely gives a glimpse into what can be, and especially everything you're accomplishing at school. So, thank you so much for being on the show. Do you have anything else you wanna bring up, or do you want to talk about? Did I miss something?
Not sure.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. I don't know how I was able to land a guest like you, but
you're welcome for having the hiccups. So
yeah,
I definitely don't enjoy it, but you do, I guess.
I think it's fantastic. I'm gonna wear it as a badge of honor that I pitched this joke idea. Normally, when I pitch the joke ideas, and to be honest with you, I know you listen to the show sometimes, but normally when I pitch a joke idea, there's not much of any sound coming out of the guest, let alone hiccups. So I'm going to go ahead and take that one as a win.
That's good that you think that.
All right. Thanks, Haddie.
Well, thank you so much to Haddie for joining the show this week, the 10th episode of Laugh With Me. The haters said we'd never make it to 10 episodes. Never. They said you'll never make it past 3.5. And I said, half? You think I'm just going to go quit halfway through an episode? No. The haters are wrong. We are through 10 now, and Haddie was the guest. You can check her out on their YouTube with the Toxic Kids, at Toxic Kids Official. That's where you can find all of their content. It is a lot of fun, and I'm sure you'll hear even more from her in the future. We have a very fun guest for you next week. I'm not going to spoil the surprise because that would be rude, okay? It'd just be super rude. But trust me, it's going to be funny. It's going to be funnier than the joke I pitched to Haddie. That's for sure. Speaking of funny, you could see live stand-up comedy in Topeka, Kansas, Top City Comedy. I will be there Thursday, November 16th. Also, see me in Omaha, Nebraska at the Funny Bone Omaha on November 30th. They're the last dates I've got for 2023. So come out and support live comedy. Brand new episode of Laugh With Me every single Wednesday. You can find it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Thanks for listening.